Hey everyone, before we dive into today's episode, a quick note. You might hear some background noise in the episode. I was dog sitting during this episode and this dog needed all of my love and attention as soon as I hit record on the podcast for literally the 1 hour that day that I was doing something that was not paying attention to this dog. So life happens, and I just wanted to let you know if you're wondering why there's a dog in the background. I appreciate the understanding, and it just goes to show that business doesn't look perfect all of the time. Enjoy the episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Cozypreneur podcast. Fopsy is the business coach who helps service providers get more clients and make more sales by focusing on what really drives income. With nearly a decade of experience in marketing, spanning roles in government, startups, and Google Canada, where she led a program that helped 50,000 small businesses get online, she brings both expertise and real-world insights to her coaching. As an entrepreneur and adjunct professor, Fopsy shows business owners how to focus on the work that grows their business and boosts their bottom line. Stay tuned. We're going to dive into how to turn clients into superfans, all while wearing your pajamas. Welcome back to another episode of the Cozypreneur podcast. If this is your first time listening, Cozypreneur is all about helping you make money and work with the dreamiest of clients. So grab your beverage, get your cozy socks on, and let's dive in. Welcome, Fopsy. Tell us a little bit about you. I know I just gave a long bio, but
it was pretty nice and darling. Thank you so much for having me, Stacy. I'm Fope Nkwocha, aka Fopsy, and it's super exciting to be here. The whole idea of doing everything in your PJs is super appealing because I'm wearing joggers right now at the bottom of this, so it's like very on brand for this. Very excited to be here. I'm a business coach. I help entrepreneurs, service providers with four-figure offers focus on their money-making priorities so that whatever you're doing on the day-to-day actually translates to stuff that's paying you, serving your clients, and really making you better. And so I'm excited about this chat as we kind of think New Year things to do. And I think it'll just be like a conversation and it will be really fun for you to listen in. Excited to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. So tell me a little bit about what does it mean when somebody is your super fan?
Really good one. So a super fan is the way I define it, a customer who is so delighted about their experience with you and your brand that they become a passionate supporter. They tell their community about you and your offer, and they get super excited about everything you do. So maybe they experienced you in one container, in one service, but like now they don't just love that. They love what you stand for. They love the value of service they got from you. It really is about doing good work and it coming back to serve you.
I think that's like such a part of the sales process that's forgotten about too, because I think that so much of the focus is on like finding new people, like converting leads to customers. Like I think for me in my business, I'm never like too worried about finding new people because my people stick around. So it's like cool. Like when I get new people, I'm like, hey, welcome. I'm so happy. But I like at the same time, that second part of the customer experience is like, that's part of the sales process. And nobody really talks about that.
It's the second sale, the third sale, because they stick around. So, and in some ways they provide a form of stable revenue because if you know that when you sign one person, you're not just signing them, you're signing maybe them and whoever else in their network needs work done, or or they themselves, and they have to come back for a second thing. So it's stable revenue for you, free word of mouth, which is like free marketing you don't have to pay for, increased lifetime value because they are coming back for things, but also access to their feedback. When people work with you well, they are also generous with their words, whether that is like with constructive feedback to help you know what to do better, but also just feedback generally. They're like, oh, I didn't think about that angle. And that's something that you might have to seek out with like surveys or anything, but just even having that relationship to be able to have a connection with your community, people that respond to you on your posts on social media is all part of like cultivating a relationship beyond the sale. I'm all for sales, and I actually teach about sales as well because sometimes we don't pay enough attention to it, and it shows because you need people to serve, to be gas for your business. If you run out of gas, the car stops essentially. But you also need this ongoing relationship to build a business that is long lasting, but also a reputation for yourself that is beyond just this person does this thing. Okay, why should I choose them? There are 100 of other people that do the same thing. There's that extra factor.
Yeah, both are important. You have to have the sales skills. And I think that's another place where people get really caught up is
they focus so much on marketing, but they don't actually close the sale. They don't actually have that conversation with people. And then they're wondering like, wait, why I'm sending the emails? Like, why isn't it working? It's like, you have to actually like have that relationship.
I think part of it, the reason why you could do all the marketing and then not close the sale can be a mix of things. But maybe you're treating the sales call like this rigid thing where you lose all your personality and all of a sudden you feel like a robot to work with. I literally just wrapped up one of my clients. We just finished our 12-week container and I was asking for feedback. And she was like, I was like, oh, what would you say to someone's on the fence about working with me? And she's like, she took a really long pause. I was like, oh, what's coming? And then she's like, honestly, your vibe. I was like, you chose me for my vibe. She's like, yeah, like we had that call at the beginning and I just knew that I was going to work with you. And I was like, okay, so beyond the plan on what I was going to do to help our business grow, it was just like the human factor, because there really are many people that do what you do, a copywriter, a social media manager, a business coach, many, many people. And so like infuse your personality into what you do as well, because that's kind of one of the joys of owning your own business. You don't have to be a rigid robot.
Especially as a solopreneur, like as an online service provider, like leaning into that personal brand and like showing like, what is your approach? What makes you different from other people? What are your values? And I think values is like another thing that people are buying more and more with their values, especially in the US, like with the election in November and stuff. Yeah. Like people are making decisions based on beliefs. Like that stuff's important. And so when you like can show up and say like, hey, this is like how I approach my life. And like, these are the ways I make decisions. And this is the way I treat my clients. Like those things are going to make a difference.
I was saying to Stacy right before we started recording that like normally when I teach this creating Superfans, I have like a whole framework of like Superfans literally spells out stuff. And the U, maybe I should say what it spells out. We won't go over all of them, but you just know it for your knowing. So S is for like study your customers. U is for understand emotional connections. P is for provide consistent value. The first E is for engage through content. R is for respond to feedback. F is for foster loyalty with rewards. The A is for amplify success stories. And the N is nurture relationships. And I was thinking under the U, understand emotional connections. Like this is kind of what we're talking about with sharing your personal side as well, because it gives people a reason to care. It differentiates you from larger competitors. And it also helps you to use the power that has been helping us make decisions for a long time, which is storytelling. If you have a strong why behind why you started your business, if you have like some really great customer stories, and it doesn't even have to be like some grand thing that they finished whatever it is that you do in your process. Maybe they built a website or they got a viral reel. If you do social media management, it can just be feedback they've given you along the way, how you've helped them do something difficult, how you supporting them during a difficult time, how you help them troubleshoot a team issue. All of those kinds of stories, they pull us in and they help us to feel more connected and just, I will help you get more clients. Like, so it's really important to also understand that it's beyond what you're selling. You're also trying to connect to people.
Storytelling is something that I talk to my clients a lot about inside my membership. And that's something that we work on is like, how do you like show a part of your life, a part of your story and make it super engaging? And I think my like favorite storytelling tip, I actually told the client this morning, is to like start them in the middle of the story. You don't need to be like, last week I was running errands when. It's like, no, you don't need the introduction. Like just grab their attention, hook them in. So that's definitely something that I help my clients with too.
Yeah, it's incredible. And it works. And I think that's another thing with AI being able to condense so much information and like tell you, I mean, I don't know how accurate all the time, but I think pretty accurate because it's all from the internet. What can help you stand out is your story, the uniqueness of your life and your customers' experiences with you. So don't shy away from sharing it. It might feel like you don't have as many stories, but it just means you've not been documenting enough. If you literally sit down every day to think about what has been said to you, what you're hearing on sales calls, and the problems people are going through, what problems you've overcome yourself, they will literally pour out of you. So if you're struggling with your stories, journal more and you will see that you have some stories in there. Yeah.
Well, and two, it goes back to the relationships, right? Because if you know your clients really well and you understand like this is where they started and this is where they want to go, and you can hit on those points inside your marketing, and that's going to attract more of the same people that are really good fits because you're speaking their language. You're talking about what they need to hear.
Yeah, it's the better you study your people, the more you will be able to say words that actually connects with them. And it's like if you understand your people's problems better than they do, then they feel like, okay, this person gets me. That's like the key part of studying your customers and just doing your best to find those words they use. And if you're like, where do I even find that? we love to chat on the internet. Stacy and I meet on Threads. So people are always talking about their problems and what's going on in their lives and their days. Listen, go where your people are. Facebook groups, you know them. Like, don't just go there to find clients. Yes, we're going there to find clients, but to just learn also about how our people talk about their problems, the words they use, how they describe their frustrations. And then if you have some clients, even if it's one or two, like leverage those relationships to ask some questions and to read between the lines sometimes of the things that have been said to you to pull out these nuggets. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes it takes a while. I think like when I first started and people were like, well, who's your ideal client? And like, what do they struggle with? And it's like what you're saying, like studying your ideal client, like it takes a while to get to know them. Like, just like if you're like meeting a friend, like it takes a while to like build that relationship. And so like, if you are listening to this and you're like, I'm so frustrated, like I've tried, I just don't know, like it's a process. It takes time. It's like, just like any other relationship, that's your relationship with your audience. So patience.
But also I find that maybe what happens as time goes on is that as you become clearer about your own offer and who you're serving, I think it gets a little easier because you can then, instead of looking for all everybody's problems in this area, then you know who specifically. Like for me now, before I decided that it was service providers, I was looking at all kinds of people, like small businesses, which is like really big. Before I decided it was like people with 4-figure offers, I was looking at different kinds of problems, and that made it really hard to even know where to look. So yeah, the time you spend defining your offer with a coach, with yourself, with whatever you're using, will come in handy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. It helps you skip some time and fast forward. So what are some of your favorite ways to build strong relationships with clients and get them to be super fans and come back over and over?
Do what you said you would do, first of all, because
so simple.
I know. It's like the point is to meet the expectations first and before you exceed them, because the point is that they have to be delighted about their experience with you. And for them to do that, you need to either be clear that things coming up, even sometimes when you find that you're not able to meet the expectation, whatever you agreed on, if you can get ahead of it and communicate it, that can also go a long way. So for me, right, what I'm doing these days is I am doing that, getting ahead of issues that are coming up, first of all, so that I don't wait for them. I don't pretend like it doesn't exist. I'm like getting in front of it. I also ask for feedback because you don't know what you need to. First of all, you might not know, might not be fully aware of all the things you're doing well to be able to amplify them if you're not asking for feedback. So I'm actually asking more questions. In my 12-week coaching container, after every call, I say, what has been the most helpful part of this conversation, or what, like, the different ways I ask it. Essentially, if you could summarize only just one thing that you took away, what would it be? And it works to help them reflect, but also helps me to know, okay, that's what stuck, that's what was most helpful. And sometimes it's the most random things, the comment I made, or just like simplifying the process, or helping people to figure out this is this week's priorities. And rather than spinning around for a while, not knowing what to do, that's like what sticks out. I'm also remembering, is it horizontal relationship with peers? Because it's not all with clients. Sometimes it's working together with peers who you're not necessarily looking to get as clients, but they knowing what you do can be really helpful in thinking of new ways to collaborate like this, or thinking of new offers that you can create together. And then with that, having them come back, this one is interesting. Sometimes you should ask, because it's not that people don't want to, come back to you, but if you haven't sent an email in a long time to your email list, you don't have new offers that bundle up your packages or like ask for the renewal or anything, then it's not like they don't love you, but they just need a little prompting, or like, would you like this? Same way they ask you, would you like some fries with that every time you go to the McDonald's or whatever, because you need that extra ask to be like, do I really want this? Just to put the planned thoughts in their head. So sometimes asking about it is important. And the other thing I'm leaning into is I realized that I've been sitting on customer stories. I don't know why in the middle of everything, I just have not shared as much. So I am taking more time to do case studies in different ways. I've tried carousels, I've tried ones with my face, I've tried others with actual reviews, and they're doing well. They're being engaged with more to show that it's not just to attract new people, it's also to remind people in my community that I am serving people, and that works to put me in their minds and help them refer other people. So it's also giving them ammunition, if you will, to do the work. Amplifying success stories is how I would describe that. I've been thinking about like overall what I'm doing, and I think I want to like do a bit more of workshops next year. I really love them, and my community love them. when I was doing them this year, I found that it was a bit of work to plan. And so I think I took a step back, but I feel like I do enjoy teaching after adjunct prof. So like I teach and it's great. It's great to come to like connect with the people and also kind of see questions that are asked in the chat, see what is top of mind for people. So I want to do that because one, it provides value to people and it also just creates a touch point. Like, hey, I'm still here, that kind of thing. I have had a podcast. I have one podcast called Money Making Priorities. It's about all things business, and a different one on stories of resilience and relationships called Dear Fopsy. But anyways, I have podcasts, but I think I want to do more live teaching, like a workshop style, lunch and learn. That way I'm providing consistent value. I'm learning what people lean to more. So for example, if I do 10 workshops and 2 have like really high registrations, maybe that means that topic is more relevant. So I'm trying to also learn like that. And that way, as I serve people, I learn, and those that want to work with me come, and and even those that worked with me before that forgot it existed can remember again. So those are some of the things I'm doing. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think I can tell like the associate professor in you because of that feedback, right? And I think that one, that really helps you stand out in the online space because there's so many coaches that don't have that teaching experience. And, I was a teacher and I just like being able to plan learning experiences that are actually going to help people learn is huge.
Right. And it forces you to condense that knowledge you have and like summarize it, but also like research some more, create opportunities for them to engage with you during the workshop. So you're not just talking for an entire hour, and like it's a whole discipline. So yeah, I'm sure you remember from lesson planning. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I still think about my business. I'm like, this is my classroom. I'm backwards planning for next year. This is how I'm doing it. But I think one of your points that you said of like having feedback doesn't have to be like one form at the end of the program. Like it can be at every single call. I posted a poll inside my community the other day that was like, what do you want to see in 2025? What kinds of events? And people are like, I want community events. And like, I wasn't necessarily planning on doing like fun community events. But I'm like, now I am because that's what they want. And that's, we can have fun and do it. And so just adapting your plans based on like what people need in that moment. And I think, with everything going on in the world, people just want to like connect and talk. And then the other point about your case studies, something I've been trying to do is actually have my clients on the podcast and kind of talk about what are their experiences and what has it been like. And that's been really fun. And I'm like, I'm getting such good feedback too of like what worked so well for them and what did they really love about the service and all of those things and like some of their wins. And I'm like, wow, I need to like keep better track of this. But it's really great to like just have that conversation, and it's validating for you too.
Absolutely. For you, you could probably use them in so many ways. You could chop them up for social content. You could turn them into written case studies. You could draw quotes from them, and you just be like, you listen to them on the days when you're feeling mad about your business. Yeah.
Exactly. You're like, I am good at my job.
I know. So, yeah.
Because everybody has those bad days. My business coach always talks about the rule of thirds, and like 1/3 is great days, 1/3 is fine days, and 1/3 is bad days. And so I always like every time I'm having a bad day, I'm like, okay, it's just 1/3 bad days.
Yeah. Totally hear you. And no matter how big you get, I think you still get those days. Yeah.
All right. So do you have any final tips or ideas to share with the Cozypreneur audience?
I think that this is going to continue to be an even more important part of business, to build relationships with the audience you do have, and to think about ways to serve the people that you want to sell to as well, because I think that as we have more options, more access to options, as we become more aware of like solutions that they are, relationships will continue to pay a huge difference. So lean into them. If you feel a little shy about, doing all of this stuff with the internet, there are many ways to lean into your strengths. I have someone who's really like, she does email really well. So she emails her community. She doesn't do as much of front-facing stuff with her face. But if you don't mind like showing your face, showing your face is a huge trust thing as well, because like, okay, a human being that I can really relate to. So lean into people, the people aspect of things, find ways to learn more about your people, talk to your real people. And if you have success stories that you're sitting on, it's time to dust them off and start to like share them some more. Is some tips I will give you. I probably share about this a little bit more weekly. I have a weekly series called Profitable Priorities. If you want to join, head over to fopsy.ca/newsletter. It's fopsy.ca. You can get more details there. But yeah, I think don't shy away from this as you think about doing business in the world of AI. Yeah.
Love it. And where can people find you if they want to connect with you?
So you can find me at fopsy.ca everywhere. My Instagram is at fopsy.ca. My website is fopsy.ca, which is, I thought it was neat that you could do .ca. I am a business coach and I really help you focus on profitable priorities. And I have a one-on-one coaching, so we get to know each other really well, which is another way that I do that connection with you, if you will. I have a free sales call process that allows you to get to know what my vibe is, what I can offer, and you get your questions answered as well. So if you're interested in working together as a business coach, I would love to talk with you. You can book a sales call at fopsy.ca/call. Otherwise, you can connect on Instagram. I'm most active there. Even when I try to take a break, I'm there. So DM me or find me wherever is most convenient for you. Looking forward to staying connected.
Awesome. And then last and final question, what is your favorite way to be cozy?
My favorite way to be cozy is unhealthy for me. It's a tub of ice cream in front of TV, just like chilling. But I can't have as much ice cream as I want because apparently it has consequences. And yeah. So, but I indulge every now and then. I do also love a good series that I can binge and not have to get up for a while. So if you ever have recommendations, I'm open to receiving them. What is yours?
We could do a whole nother episode on TV shows.
Okay. What's your favorite way of being cozy?
My favorite way of being cozy is probably hanging out on my couch with my cats and watching TV, or literally just being in sweats and not having to do anything, just relax.
I missed one. So I wear kaftans a lot. They're just like a giant piece of clothing where there's no trousers required. And they really are cozy. My ideal world is to not have to wear proper clothes. And I'm so glad they exist. It's like momos, if you will, but they're a bit more stylish because I have patterns. I'm Nigerian originally, and we have a lot of beautiful patterns. So I just wear bubus all the time, and they are really comfortable. But I'm Canadian, and that's unfortunate because you can't wear them out because there's a lot of space for cold air to get in. But yeah, in an ideal world, I'll be wearing those as well.
That's your summer outfit.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the Cozypreneur podcast. It was a pleasure having you on. And until next episode.
That's a wrap on today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to rate and leave a review on your preferred listening platform. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe for weekly episodes about how to make money and work with the dreamiest of clients without having to get dressed in the morning. Make sure to check out the show notes down below, and I'll see you in the next episode.